Hello students, this is Professor Dipti Patil from Department of Biotechnology, Changu Kana Thakur, ACS College, New Panvel. Today, we are going to learn about cancer biology. Before going to the detailed topic about the cancer, let us first learn about what is exactly cancer. So, the cancer is genetic disease because it can be traced to the alteration within the specific gene, but it is not an inherited disease. Why this is not inherited disease? Because generally inherited diseases are one of the genetic defect which is present in the parent and that is transmitted to the zygote and through that in the next generation. But in contrast to that, cancer is the genetic alteration which is arise in the DNA of the somatic cell during the lifetime of the affected individual. And because of this alteration in the somatic cell DNA, this cancer is not passed to the next generation. So, this alteration in DNA leads to the cancer cell become free from many restraints to which the normal cell are subjected. Most importantly, the most important change occur in the cancer cell is what? That is, cancer cells proliferate uncontrollably and it produce malignant tumor which invade the surrounding healthy tissues. So, first of all, let us discuss about properties of the cancer cell. You can see in the picture, the diagram is showing the different properties of the cancer cell. See, you can see there is the no growth control here. Second one property is the cancer cells are immortal. Next one, cancer cells are arise due to error in the DNA and because of that they are protected from the apoptosis. Next one, cancer cells are highly metabolic because fulfill their metabolic activities, metabolic requirements by depending on the glycolysis. And last one is the all the cancer cells are monoclonal cells. So let us discuss all these properties in detail. First property is this loss of the growth control. Actually, there are many difference in the properties from one type of the cancer cell to another. But if we discuss about the general basic properties which are shared by the all type of the cancer cells, these are all of this in that first property is the loss of growth control. So at the cellular level, the most important characteristic of the cancer cell is whether it resides in the body or in a culture dish. It is loss of growth control. This is the most important property which is shown by the cancer cell. If you can see in the picture, there are the two plates are given. On the upper one plate, the normal cells are grow in monolayer and lower plate cells, normal cell along with the cancer cell, they are grow in a lump. Actually, when we culture this both of the cell, normal cell along with the tumor cell, which have been taken from the malignant tumor, when we grow artificially onto the plate, initially both of these cells show the similar growth pattern. But after forming the monolayer, normal cells suddenly drop down their growth rate. But in case of the cancer cell, they are not. There is no any change in the growth rate of the cell division. And this is actually because of the changes in the DNA of the cancer cell. You can see in the picture, these first normal cells are forming only monolayer, and in the next one cancer cells are forming the lump over the monolayer, means there is no any significant change after the complete formation of the monolayer of the cell in case of the cancer cell. So this is why, because not only do the cancer cell ignore the inhibitory growth signal, but they continue to grow in absence of stimulatory growth signal that are required by the normal cell. Means what? Generally, normal cells give the they give response towards the inhibitory growth signal. Like if they form the monolayer because of the depletion of the nutrient, because of the restriction of the place on the plate, this normal cell suddenly stop dividing. But in case of the cancer cell, they don't respond to any inhibitory growth signal. Along with that, in absence of stimulatory growth signal also, cancer cells continue to multiply. So normal cells growing in a culture depend on the growth factors like epidermal growth factor, insulin, which are present in the serum, and these growth factors are usually added to the growth medium for the optimum growth of the normal cell. But in case of the cancer cells can proliferate in absence of serum because their cell cycle does not respond to any of the growth factor, or there is any interaction between growth factor and their receptor, which is located at the cell surface. So next property of the cancer cell is cancer cells are immortal. Immortal means what? There is almost cancer cells continuously divide indefinitely. In case of when we talk about the normal cell grow in a culture, they exhibit limited capacity for cell division. Means what? After certain finite number of mitotic division, they undergo an aging process, and because of that aging process, this aging process render the normal cell to unfit for continuation to divide and grow. But in case of the cancer cells seemingly immortal because they continue to divide indefinitely, and this difference in growth potential is only because of the presence of telomerase enzyme in the cancer cell, and this telomerase enzyme is absent in normal cell. See, you can see in the picture what is exactly telomere. You can see the telomeric region on the chromosome here. Okay, so the normal cell possesses the chromosome, and on that chromosome this telomeric sequence after at each mitotic division, this telomeric sequence gets shortened, and after certain cell division, as this telomeric sequence get end, after that cell stop dividing. But in case of the cancer cell, you can see the telomeric region here, and it is continuously maintained after many of the mitotic divisions. Mean it is not shortened after every division, it get maintained after every division, and that's why these cancer cells are continuously indefinitely divide and form the malignant tumor. So this is one of the most important property which is shown by the cancer cell. Now, next property which is shown by cancer cell is protection from apoptosis. As we know that normally any cell, if there is any change in the DNA sequence, or if there is any DNA damage, at that time cell undergo the apoptosis, means self destruction of the cells takes place. But in case of the cancer cell, these cells are typically failed to elicit the apoptotic response even when their chromosome content become highly dearranged. Means even when the DNA is damaged or there is any irreparable change in the DNA, this cancer cell does not undergo the apoptotic response. And this protection of the apoptosis is also another important hallmark that distinguishes many cancer from the normal cell. You can see in the picture here, this is the normal cell division. Normal cell undergo the cell division, and if there is any unrepairable DNA damage occur, at that time this cell undergo the apoptosis. You can see. But in case of the cancer cell, see, after first mutation, there is subsequent mutation in the cell occur. This mutation is also not repairable. Again there is a third mutation, and in this way the mutation is because of this subsequent mutation, the cell get transformed into the cancer cell, and it loses the control over the cell division, and it uncontrollably divide and form the malignant tumor. Now, next property is dependence on the glycolysis. See, when cancer cells grows uncontrollably, their metabolic requirement is very high. But as the cells grows and they form the tumor, that middle one cell of the tumor, they don't get enough oxygen supply and enough nutrient supply. At that condition, because of this hypoxic condition, this tumor cell activate one transcription factor which is called as the hypoxia inducing factor. What is the role of this factor? This hypoxic inducing factor induces the formation of new blood vessel within the tumor, and it promotes the migratory properties of the cell, which may contribute to the spread of the tumor. See, when the tumor grows in a bigger size, at that time middle cells are devoid of the nutrient, they don't get enough oxygen. At that time they form these new blood vessels to get the optimum oxygen, to get the proper nutrients, and generally this process we call it as a angiogenesis. You can observe in the picture, this is the tumor, and in this tumor these darker color cells are didn't get the enough oxygen, and that's why they induce the uh, formation of the blood vessels by activating this HIF, means hypoxia inducing factor. This hypoxia inducing factor start the formation of the new blood vessels, and that's why they form the new blood vessel from this region, and then this tumor get enter into surrounding healthy tissues, it get invade the surrounding healthy tissues, and in this way the cancer, or we can say the tumor, get enlarged in body. So these are the most common properties. Generally these are demonstrated in culture together with their tendency to spread to distant sites within the body, and that make cancer cells such a threat to well-being of the entire organism. Now move towards the next point, that is causes of the cancer. See, we discussed the different properties of the cancer cells, what is exactly cancer, but after that, now what is the exact cause of the cancer, that we will discuss. So basically there is very relation between the environmental factor and the cancer, and this correlation was first known by British surgeon Percival Pott in 1775, and this correlation between the environmental agent and the development of cancer, it is concluded because he observed that there are high incidence of the cancer of the nasal cavity and the skin of the scrotum in chimney sweep. This was due to their chronic exposure to the soot. So basically these are the different environmental agent. In addition to that agent, there are certain chemicals are also present, like uh, these are the carcinogenic agent, we can say. Because of that carcinogenic agent also cancer arise in body. Along with that there are some ionizing radiations plus variety of viruses also there, and these are the different factors which are responsible for the causes of the cancer. So all of these agents have one single property in common, that they alter the genome. See, this is the main exactly root cause of the cancer. Means what? These all agents, means whether you can say the carcinogenic chemical, or we can say any ionizing radiation, or any DNA or RNA viruses, all of these agents are causing alteration in the genome of the cell, and because of that alteration cancer is causing into the body. So carcinogenic chemicals like which are present in the soot or cigarette smoke, they can almost always be shown either to be directly mutagenic, or they are converted to mutagenic compound by cellular enzyme. Means what? These chemical are directly acts as a mutagenic agent and alter the genome, or after entering into body they are converting into the mutagenic compound by the cellular enzyme, and this mutagenic compound after that they are causing the alteration in the genome. Similar to this carcinogenic chemical, there are UV radiations. As we know that UV radiation are also very harmful to us because they are directly targeting the DNA into the cell. So when we expose to UV radiation, then it leads to the skin cancer, and that's why this UV radiation is also strongly mutagenic. After that there are number of viruses also there, which they are also responsible for the transforming the normal cell into the cancer cell. So these viruses are broadly divided into the two large groups. First is the DNA tumor virus, and second one RNA tumor virus. Basically this classification is depend upon the type of nucleic acid present in the mature virus particle. So basically tumor viruses are have the ability to transform the normal cell into the cancer cell, and this transformation is because they carry the genes whose product interfere with the cell's means host cells normal growth regulatory activities. Means when these tumor viruses enter or infect the host cell, they directly interfere with the cell's normal growth and cell's normal growth regulatory activities. And because of that, because of the alteration of the genes, this virus transform the normal cell into the cancer cell. For example, polyoma virus, simian virus, adenovirus, human papilloma virus, hepatitis B virus, Epstein-Barr virus. So these are the different viruses which are responsible for causing the cancer, or we can say transformation of the normal cell into the cancer cell. So today we have discussed a lot of uh, different properties of the cancer cell, then what are the causes of the cancer cell, and after that remaining points we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.